Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As you well know, we have done many reviews on several different power stations over the past couple of years. But in today's video, we're gonna be comparing the DJI 1000 to the EcoFlow Delta 2. These are very comparable power stations in terms of power, but there is some significant differences between the two. So if you're looking for a power station for backup power to power simple household items in the event of a power outage, make sure and watch this whole video so you can make an informed decision as to which one of these fits your needs best. So to start with, let's talk about the weight of these two units. So the DJI 1000 comes in at 28 pounds and the EcoFlow Delta 2 comes in at 27 pounds. So very comparable, 1 pound heavier on the DJI, but they both have these ergonomic handles so you can lift them easily. You can also hold them by your side and carry them easily as well, and very ergonomic in that way. And overall, very easy to transport. Now, while we're on the topic of ergonomics, I wanna mention something that is a very significant difference from the DJI and the EcoFlow, and it's the location of the actual ports and the display. For whatever reason, EcoFlow is kind of a rectangular design. And as you can see, when we're using this unit, if we're using the USB or the USB-C, as well as the 110 outlet at the same time, they're on the opposite side. So it's kind of awkward and you don't know where to put it. If you have it in your vehicle, you're worried about bending cords and stuff, which I've had happen. So I'm really cognizant of that. But the DJI, on the other hand, everything is right here on the front, which I love about this unit. So definitely a design flaw in my opinion on the EcoFlow. Something that's really nice about the DJI is that everything's right here up on the front. Now let's talk for a moment about the actual ports on these systems. The DJI, as you can see, has 2 ports, whereas the EcoFlow has 6 ports, which is a nice feature on the EcoFlow. However, if you're gonna be plugging in that many 110 items, I'd be surprised. Most of the time we're gonna be using the USB-C for charging devices or even laptops, maybe the plug for a laptop or a heater or something, but I think 2 is reasonable. We can always put an adapter on here if we need them, but that is a good thing about the EcoFlow is that it has 6 ports. Now, both of these devices are able to charge via a cigarette lighter like this one, so you can charge them in your car on the go. However, the EcoFlow does have a cigarette port here, so you can actually plug in devices. Maybe you have a cigarette lighter charger for your phone and you can only use that on this. However, you can purchase an adapter that plugs into this SDC port and it creates basically this same thing here. So if you don't really use this a lot, that's not something that's mandatory, but if you do want that feature, you can purchase that separately through DJI. Now, as far as charging, both of these have this universal plug here for charging. I have had some power stations that have had some weird charging ports. So this is a huge advantage that they both have the same one there. So big advantage for both of these on having that. Now I want to talk about the USB-C and USB. If you look real closely here, you can see that this has a max output of 140 watts, whereas this guy over here only has 100 watts. So you can actually charge things a lot faster with this one. So it's perfect for fast charging laptops or other devices. This really makes a huge difference that I've noticed in quick charging. But as far as charging a DJI drone, I highly recommend using this SDC port, and you can get a true quick charge with that port there. Now, as far as charge time for these devices, the EcoFlow Delta 2 will charge 0 to 80 in 1 hour, and the DJI 1000 will do it in 50 minutes. So pretty comparable there. This is a little bit lower, and you'll notice that we have a 600 watt mode and a 1200 watt mode in terms of charging. So you can charge this as fast as you want or as slow as you want. Now, in terms of solar, this EcoFlow Delta 2 does have this port that is very commonly used for solar, whereas the DJI has these SDC ports here. However, you can purchase this adapter and you can have up to 3 of these, and then this singular one plugs in here and you can plug in multiple devices or multiple solar panels to get as much power. Now, while we're on that topic, the Delta 2 has a max capacity of 500 watts of solar that it can accept at one given time, whereas the DJI can accept 800 watts, which is pretty impressive. Note too that you will have to have quite a few panels to get that amount of watts, but this does accept quite a bit more, which is a pretty cool feature. Okay, so I wanted to do a real-time test here with the EcoFlow and the DJI with this resistance heater. In the event of emergency power outage, we're going to be using something like this probably. So let's go ahead and plug this into our DJI, and we'll notice how many watts it's drawing, and we'll see how long with 100% it says that this will be able to be used. So let's go ahead and just turn on the fan first of all. Here we go. So we have air blowing out of here, and as you can see over there, we're only outputting 16 watts, so next to nothing. Now when we move this over to the 1500 watt setting, it should match that pretty closely. There we go. So we're right at 1400 watts. We got a ton of heat coming out of this. And as you can see, this says it will run it for approximately 40 minutes at this rate. Tons of heat coming out of here. So obviously it's not gonna run something like this for a very long time, but I just wanted to show you that it will work with this power station. Let's bump it up to 1500 watts. And as you can see, it jumped right up. Everything is working nicely, but as you can see, we're lowering it down to 35 minutes. Now, with that being said, if we're trying to heat a small room, that's not gonna be totally accurate. If we heat it up and then we turn this off, this could actually last quite a while in an emergency power outage. If we're cycling it on and off, maybe 24 hours. This can just be a really versatile tool to have in one of those really critical moments when you absolutely need heat in just a small space. So let's shut it down and we'll check it out on the EcoFlow Delta 2. All right, so we have that powered up. Let's go to our fan setting. You can see we're pulling about 20 watts. Okay, let's bump it up to 1300. Instantly, 1342. Right off, you heard these fans kick on. So this is definitely louder. When you're using something of a large load like this, it's going to be louder than the DJI. As you can see, this says about the same, 41 minutes on the 1300 capacity. We've got nice heat coming out. And then if we go up to the 1600, you saw that bump up there, and that number over there on the left will probably drop a little bit. Yeah, 35 minutes. So about the same in that respect, but I just wanted to show you that this does indeed work on both of these power stations. The last thing I want to talk about that's pretty significant is the peak wattage here that these are capable of. The EcoFlow goes up to 2700 peak watts, and that's like when something first kicks on, it can jolt all the way up to that amount of watts, which is 2700. Whereas the DJI 1000 is actually 4400, so it's way higher. I'm not quite sure what you would be running that would run that high on peak or surge watts, but those are the statistics between the DJI versus the EcoFlow. Well guys, you're probably curious to know what my personal take is on which of these is better. And personally speaking, the DJI 1000 is the one that I would purchase if I was looking for one that I want to have in my car, in my home for backup purposes. I love the ergonomics of it. I love that everything is on the front, and I just like this power station better. It also has this awesome chime when you turn it on and off, like the DJI drones, which is super cool. Kind of stupid, but I like it. So if I was going to buy one, I would suggest the DJI 1000. However, I'll leave links to both of these down in the video description, and you can purchase either of these there. I hope you found this video informative. Now, in either instance, if you are curious on how you can get power to your gas furnace in the event of an emergency power outage, and you can simply plug one of these into your gas furnace and power it completely isolated from the grid, check out this video right here. Super unique. A lot of homes simply don't have a way to get power directly to the furnace in the event of a power outage, but this video will help walk you through that so you can be prepared this winter. Until next time, you guys be safe. Later.